Can I ask you to please recall a time when you really loved something, a movie, an album, a song, or a book, and you recommended it wholeheartedly to someone you also really liked. And you anticipated that reaction, you waited for it, and it came back, and the person hated it. So by way of introduction, that is the exact same state in which I spend every working day of the last 6 years. I teach high school math. I sell a product to a market that doesn't want it, but is forced by law to buy it. I mean, that's kind of, it's just a losing proposition. So there's a useful stereotype about students that I see, a useful stereotype about you all. I could give you guys Algebra 2 final exam, and I'd expect no higher than a 25% pass rate. And both of these facts say less about you or my students than they do about what we call math education in the US today. So I'd like to talk about some problems that we're having with this. And to start with, I'd like to break math down into two categories. One is computation. This is the stuff you've forgotten. For example, factoring quadratics with leading coefficient greater than 1. Okay? This stuff is also really easy to relearn, provided that you have a really strong grounding in reasoning, math reasoning. We'll call it the application of math processes to the world around us. This is hard to teach. This is what we would love students to retain, even if they don't go into mathematical fields. This is also something that the way we teach it in the US all but ensures they won't retain it. So I'd like to talk about why that is, why that's such a calamity for society, what we can do about it, and to close with why this is an amazing time to be a math teacher. So, I'm here to tell you that the way our textbooks, particularly math-adopted textbooks, teach math reasoning and patient problem solving, it's functionally equivalent to turning on 2.5 Men and calling it a day. In all seriousness, here's an example from a physics textbook. It applies equally to math. Notice, first of all, here that you have exactly 3 pieces of information there, each of which will figure into a formula somewhere eventually, which the student will then compute. Okay? This conditions students to expect this, I believe, in real life. And ask yourselves, what problem have you solved ever that was worth solving where you knew all of the given information in advance, where you didn't have a surplus of information and you had to filter it out, or you didn't have insufficient information and had to go find some? I'm sure we all agree that no problem we're solving is like that. And I'll yield the floor here for a second to Einstein, who I believe has paid his dues. He talked about the formulation of a problem being so incredibly important, and yet in my practice, in the US here, we just give problems to students. We don't involve them in the formulation of the problem. So 90% of what I do with my 5 hours of prep time per week is to take fairly compelling elements of problems like this from my textbook and rebuild them in a way that supports math reasoning and patient problem solving. And here's how it works. I like this question. It's about a water tank. The question is, how long will it take you to fill it up? Okay? First things first, we eliminate all the sub-steps. Students have to develop those. They have to formulate those. And then notice that all the information written on there is stuff you'll need. None of it's a distractor, so we lose that. Students need to decide, all right, well, does the height matter? Does the side length matter? Does the color of the valve matter? What matters here? It's such an underrepresented question in math curriculum. So now we have a water tank. How long will it take you to fill it up? And that's it. And because this is the 21st century, and we would love to talk about the real world on its own terms, not in terms of line art or clip art that you so often see in textbooks, we go out and we take a picture of it. So now we have the real deal. How long will it take it to fill it up? And then even better is we take a video of someone filling it up. And it's filling up slowly, agonizingly slowly. It's tedious. Students are looking at their watches, rolling their eyes, and they're all wondering at some point or another, man, how long is it going to take to fill up? That's how you know you've baited the hook, right? I encourage math teachers I talk to use multimedia because it brings the real world into your classroom in high resolution and full color. To encourage student intuition for that level playing field, to ask the shortest question you possibly can and let those larger, the more specific questions come out in conversation. To let students build the problem, because Einstein said so. And to finally, in total, just be less helpful. Because the textbook is helping you in all the wrong ways. It's helping you, it's buying you out of your obligation for patient problem solving and math reasoning to be less helpful. And why this is an amazing time to be a math teacher right now is because we have the tools to create this high quality curriculum in our front pocket. It's ubiquitous and fairly cheap. And the tools to distribute it freely under open licenses has also never been cheaper or more ubiquitous. I put a video series on my blog not so long ago, and it got 6,000 views in 2 weeks. I get emails still from teachers in countries I've never visited saying, wow, yeah, we had a good conversation about that. Oh, and by the way, here's how I made your stuff better, which, wow. I put this problem on my blog recently. You're in a grocery store, which line do you get into? The one that has 1 cart and 19 items, or the line with 4 carts and 3, 5, 2, and 1 items? And the linear modeling involved in that was some good stuff in my classroom, but it eventually got me on Good Morning America a few weeks later, which is just bizarre, right? And from all of this, I can only conclude that people, not just students, are really hungry for this. Math makes sense of the world. Math is the vocabulary for your own intuition. So I just really encourage you, whatever your stake is in education, whether you're a student, parent, teacher, policymaker, whatever, just insist on better math curriculum. We need more patient problem solvers. Thank you.